Well, amen. It is being called the Charlie Kirk effect. In the week since the tragic murder of the Turning Point USA founder, churches across the country are seeing packed pews, overflowing parking lots. Catholic ministries on college campuses also reporting a surge in attendance throughout their 250 operations over the last week. Joining me now is Fox News contributor Raymond Arroyo. Raymond, great to have you. You've been covering religious events for years. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Well, not in America, Maria. And I have to say, you know, we saw those two young millennial saints that were just welcomed into the church, the Catholic Church, that Pope Leo brought in just weeks ago. But this Charlie Kirk thing is really, it's a tidal wave is what it is. I have sons who are in their 20s, and I see among their friends, and it's been a steady thing. I mean, there was sort of a religious awakening among these people, and part of it, I think, was Charlie Kirk's message, which was, and the last times I spoke to him, Maria, it was about doctrine. It wasn't about politics. And you saw him merging liberty and free markets with a life well lived and living with God and marrying and being in committed love and you know, in fidelity to your family and community. That became really the forefront of the message. And I think that faithful aspect of it was really catching fire, and the young people caught it quickly. If you go to campuses now, they're wearing, I see guys particularly, they're all wearing crucifixes, Maria. This is something you just didn't see outside of our Italian neighborhoods. Guys with crucifixes was not something you saw on a campus. That is happening all over. And yeah, I think Charlie is rooted to that and is a cause of that refocus of this generation on God and what he wants of them.
That is so beautiful. I agree. That's what I'm feeling as well. Increasingly, people want to make sure they have God in their heart. Do you think it's sustainable? And is it just young people or older as well?
Well, older people, not so much. Barna did a study, and they said Gen Z, in 2025, they doubled their religious attendance from 2020. 39% of millennials are now going to church. That is a huge uptick, and it happened in the last year or so, Maria. So something was already happening in the culture, in the country. I think Charlie Kirk put a sharp edge on it and is really pointing them in that direction. And if you listen to his last, you know, prove me wrong, outdoor events, most of them were about theology and religion and the place of religion in his life and in the culture and the country.
Wow.
He was, you know, what a light he was. I mean, it's a pity he was snuffed out when he was, but he lit a fire that I think is going to burn for many, many, many generations to come.
I hope so. That is beautiful. But as more Americans are filling these pews, the Catholic Church is facing a serious shortage of priests. And it's about to get worse. There was a change in immigration policy under Joe Biden, lumping foreign clergy workers in the United States into the same visa category as unaccompanied minors. That created a major backlog. Now there is a concern that ministers serving American parishes could be forced to leave the U.S. before their paperwork is even cleared, Raymond. You've spoken with Secretary of State Marco Rubio about this, right?
I did indeed. No, we talked about it, and Secretary Rubio said he would start focusing on it anew. He had been paying attention to it. But again, you mentioned it. Why the Biden administration put, you know, abused juveniles unaccompanied coming into our country in line with clergy who need these visas and who serve millions of people. I don't understand that. But what's happened is, in this category, they're in this EB4 visa category, Maria, because you have juveniles in line, they were exhausted. There's a cap on them of 100,000 or 10,000. They capped out in February. So you've got hundreds and thousands of clergy who are about to be expelled from the country. Some have already left. Archdiocese of Milwaukee lost 24. 3 just left Florida. So we're going to be seeing this not only in the Catholic Church. There are thousands in the wider community, in the Protestant community, that are also facing expulsion because they can't get a hearing. There's a 6 to 15-year backup in the hearing process. So, you know, the Secretary of State has to take a serious look at this, and I think they've got to move quicker. Yeah,
I had not understood that angle, and that's really amazing that they would lump these two categories in the same category.
Yeah, it makes no sense. But when you have a clergy shortage, as you do in the United States, certainly in the Catholic Church, I mean, you know, you're not even at replacement level. These foreign-born priests coming in are really keeping parishes open. Without them, I don't know what happens. So this is where the church should be focusing its fire, rather than worrying about unfettered immigration, which seems to be the issue du jour in the Catholic Church. this is something that impacts far more people immediately and needs addressing. And I hope they'll raise their voice in a unified fashion around it.
Well, thank you for keeping a focus on it. Raymond, great to catch up with you. Thank you.
Maria.
Raymond Arroyo here.